All right, let's talk about something that trips up pretty much everyone, even native English speakers: verbs. We're about to pull back the curtain on their secret lives and figure out why some sentences just sound, well, totally wrong.
So let's just dive right in with a classic grammar mystery. You've probably heard a sentence like, "He is wanting a drink," and your brain immediately goes, "Nope, that's not right." But why? What's the actual rule that makes it sound so weird? Well, that's the puzzle we are going to solve right now. Okay, here's the secret. The answer isn't about memorizing a ton of different rules. It all boils down to one simple idea that most people never learn. English verbs aren't all created equal. They actually fall into 3 hidden categories. And once you know what they are, English grammar suddenly starts to make a whole lot more sense. First up, let's talk about the biggest and, honestly, the most straightforward group: normal verbs. Think of these as the workhorses of the English language. They're the ones that play by all the rules you probably already know. The test for a normal verb is so simple. Just ask yourself, can you physically see someone doing it? We're talking about real physical actions. You can literally watch someone run, you can see someone eat. And because they're visible actions, you can use them in any tense you want, including that continuous ing form. No problem. Just look at these examples. To run, to walk, to eat, to fly. You can instantly get a mental picture of every single one of those, right? They're all physical actions. In fact, we're using them right now. I am talking, you are listening. These are normal verbs, and they're totally predictable.
And now, for group number 2. This is where things usually start to get a little confusing. Meet the non-continuous verbs. These are the bad boys, the rule breakers. They're the whole reason "he's wanting a drink" sounds so off. So the rule here is the exact opposite of what we just learned. You cannot see someone doing these verbs. You can't watch someone wanting something, can you? Or see them needing help? Of course not. That's because these verbs describe internal states, feelings, thoughts, states of being, not external actions. And that's precisely why tacking an ing onto them just feels so wrong. We can actually break these state verbs down into a few smaller groups to make it easier. You've got your abstract verbs, like to want or to need. You've got verbs that talk about possession, like to own. And then you have all the emotion verbs, right? To like, to love, to hate. All of these describe what's happening on the inside, not what we can see on the outside.
And look at that! We are right back where we started. But now the mystery is completely solved. You wouldn't say he is needing help because need is a state of being. You just say he needs help. You don't say he is wanting a drink because want is also a state. You say he wants a drink. See? Once you know the secret, it's actually pretty simple.
Okay, on to our third and final group. This one is the smallest, but oh man, it's definitely the trickiest. These are the mixed verbs. I like to call them chameleons because they have this uncanny ability to change their grammar based on what they mean.
So here's how they work. A single verb can have multiple meanings. One of its meanings will describe a state, which makes it a non-continuous verb. But its other meaning might describe an action, which makes it a normal verb. So for these guys, context is absolutely everything.
Let's start with a classic example: to have. If you're using it to mean possession, like in "I have a dollar," well, that's a state. You can't put an ing on it. But if you're using have to talk about an experience, like "I am having fun," that's an active process, so the ing form is suddenly perfectly fine.
To think is another fantastic one. If you're just expressing an opinion, he thinks the test is easy. That's a state of mind. It's non-continuous. But if you're talking about the active process of using your brain, of pondering something, she is thinking about the question. That's a normal action, and the ing works great.
And the verb to see is a perfect chameleon too. Just the basic act of using your eyes is a passive state. I see her across the room. But if seeing means you're visiting a doctor, or maybe you're dating someone, it becomes an active, ongoing process. I am seeing the doctor, or they are seeing each other. The meaning totally flips the grammar rule on its.
Now there's one chameleon verb that is so common and so tricky that it really deserves its own moment in the spotlight. It's one that gets almost everybody: the verb to be.
Okay, so 99% of the time, to be describes identity, which is a state. Joe is American. Simple. But on rare occasions, you can use it in the continuous form, is being. And when you do, it means something very specific.
It's describing temporary and usually unusual behavior. So if you say, Joe is being very rude, what you're really saying is that this isn't how he normally acts. It's a temporary action, not his permanent identity.
Phew. Okay. So we've met the three secret groups: the actions, the states, and the chameleons. Let's put this all together into a really simple checklist that you can use anytime you're feeling stuck.
From now on, anytime you're unsure about a verb, just run it through this quick 3-step check. First, ask yourself, can I physically see the action? If the answer is yes, it's a normal verb. Go nuts. If no, move to step 2. Is it a state of being? If it is, it's non-continuous, so you gotta avoid that ing. And finally, if it feels like it could be either, you've probably found a mixed verb. Just check the meaning in that specific sentence to decide if it's an action or a state.
And look, if you only take one single thing away from all of this, please let it be this one simple test. Can you physically see it happening? That right there is going to solve about 90% of the confusion. It is the most powerful mental shortcut for getting this right every single time.
So there you have it. The secret lives of verbs aren't so secret anymore. As you go about your week, listening to people and reading things, keep your ears and eyes open for those tricky chameleon verbs. Now that you know what to look for, I'm curious, which one do you think you'll spot first?